Whew. Okay, so everyone that's watching this on playback should be able to watch it right now. I think this is probably one of the few videos or live streams that I'm going to be doing. It's 1 out of 100, let's just say that, where the live stream actually does go live after the fact. So it's a bit different. So I'm just waiting for people to come into the live chat because obviously there's a bit of a delay. So we've got Toby coming in. Hello, everyone. The reason I was speaking to everyone that's coming in live chat is because this video will go live after the fact. Like, it's going to be like an upload. Yeah, but it's obviously going to be longer because it's a live stream. But as you can tell by the title, we are going to be chucking the Arrowverse tier list ranking sort of thing. So it's going to be a bit of a different video or different live stream, as well as a bit of a controversial one. I'm not going to sit here and lie, because obviously what I think people will heavily disagree with, or what I like people will disagree with, and what I dislike people will disagree with as well. So it's going to be interesting. But welcome everyone that's coming into the stream. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. We will jump into these rankings in a bit. If you are watching after the fact, like tomorrow or something, I will leave a little timestamp in the description where you can click, and that's when we start ranking the tier list. But I just want to have a bit of an intro thing with everyone coming into the chat right now. You haven't seen any of the last 3 episodes of The Flash or Arrow or Supergirl worth watching? I haven't watched the most recent episode of Supergirl. I'm actually going to watch it like in about an hour after I end this stream. I'm going to catch up with some TV shows. Same with Legends as well. But I think Flash and Arrow are working up to like decent finales. Probably Flash more than Arrow, which is weird because Arrow started off stronger than Flash. Did you just wake up in every live stream? I just always look like I've woken up. That's just how it goes. Arrow season 4 should be last. Well, we'll wait and see. I guess we'll wait and see. Who knows? But yeah, so we'll jump into this in a second. But if you are new to the stream and you're just joining, just try and keep the chat nice and civil. Obviously, this is going to be a bit opinionated and stuff like that, so I guess that's hard to avoid. And if you want to, help support the channel and stuff, you can super chat and I guess voice your opinion and stuff like that. Why don't I do Legends reviews? Because the show dropped in quality heavily, so I'm not going to review something that I'm going to be sitting there going, oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, and then like only like 10% of the episode. I'm just not going to put myself through that and make people watch a depressing video. That's just how it goes. I will review the finale regardless, but I don't think it's going to pick up in quality, unfortunately, just from what we've seen. I wish the CW never existed. I dream of another company to make these shows. You mean Warner Brothers, who owns the properties to DC Comics? They're the only ones that are going to make the shows? That's a bit weird. Anyway, okay, let's move on. So we are going to... Actually, let me move you over to the display. So here we go. Arrowverse tier rankings. So the pictures look weird, and with a decent amount of them, you might not be able to distinguish between, what's the season? But they are in order. So that's Arrow season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Then Flash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Legends 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Supergirl 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't include Black Lightning because technically it's not Arrowverse. Just to put it out there so someone doesn't go, "Where's Black Lightning?" and stuff. Just to clarify. But in regards to how we go through it and place them, we will go Arrow season 1, Flash season 1, Legends season 1, until we get to the current season. So that's how we're gonna flow through it, if that makes sense. But with some of them, if I'm not 100% sure, if I'm teetering and tottering between, say, giving it a B or giving it a C or giving it a C or an F, you might be able to pick some of the ones that might appear there. And some of them might surprise you that might not be an F and might be a C. But if I'm teetering and tottering, I will come to you guys and just in the chat and to help me out. But if you are watching this after the fact, or even if you are watching the live stream and want to come back to this video and leave your own rankings, because it will take a bit of time because there's 20 seasons here to rank, feel free to do that in the comments section down below as well. So, let's go. Okay, so we're going to start with Arrow Season 1. Now, Arrow Season 1, obviously it's seen as like the, I guess, one of the better seasons of the shows. However, I don't think it's... Because a lot of people might think, oh, no, it's an S. It's like some people, like a lot of Arrow fans and stuff would be... Okay, yeah, before, someone did ask, what's the S? So, S, I just say it's like special. I know that's what I've been saying in these rankings. And then A is good. Like, A is great. B is... A is very good. B's, it's okay. It's pretty decent. C, it's like, it's super average or below average. And F is just like, don't touch it with a 10-foot pole because you might get some sort of transmitted disease. Like, it could be really dangerous to touch this season again, because either eyeball disease or just possibly infection of the brain. That could be a couple of things that could come out of watching a season in this F grade. So, yeah, that's what the whole meaning thing. So S, we don't want to overclutter S, because S is, as I said, S for special. It's a very special ranking and basically means super season. And we're talking about superheroes here. So we'll jump into Arrow Season 1. And Arrow Season 1, extremely good season. It's very, very, very good season. It's definitely not an F. It's definitely not a C. It's definitely not a B. But just get it out of the way, because everyone's saying in the chat, and I have to agree with everyone that's putting it there, it is an A. A for Arrow, and Arrow Season 1 is an A. I think it's just how it rolls. Controversial opinion from Eddie the Martian in the chat. I'm an Arrow fan, but Season 1 is overrated. Really good, but only my top 3 Arrow seasons, and top 5 for 4 of the Arrowverse. Yeah, you might not think it's... Well, that's if a lot of people think it's like an S. You know what I mean? But for me, Arrow Season 1 is a solid A, and I think a lot of people agree with that. So let me know in the chat, do you agree with the A rating? I know a lot of people writing A, and I think I'm not seeing any like B's or anything like that. So I think A is the acceptable spot for Arrow Season 1. Naruto with the $2 super chat. You're going to put this on YouTube after? Yes, this is one of my few YouTube streams that will be uploaded after the fact. I don't know when it will go up, because YouTube has to like process a live stream. I guess it depends how long this live stream goes for, which Matt affects how long it takes to go up on YouTube. If that makes sense. But yeah, so Arrow Season 1 at A. So I think is S meant to be superior? Is that what it is? Like a special or superior? That's what we're going to call it. But I think that's the best. Ooh, I just knocked my goddamn wrist. I think that's the best spot to put Arrow Season 1. So we will jump up to Flash Season 1 now. Okay, so we have Flash Season 1 here. If you're just joining, we're not going through like Arrow Season 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go through the first seasons of the shows, then the second seasons, then on and on. Obviously with Arrow, because it has so many more seasons, Arrow will have like 3 in a row towards the end, or 2 in a row. And like Supergirl, Legends and Supergirl will drop out a season earlier. I don't know why S is getting... Why is A getting... allowed to be shown, but S is like, nope, you can't just put S. Okay, that's weird. Okay, but this is annoying. Why? If there's any moderators in the chat, can you make sure that all the S's get shown? Because I don't know why they're getting hidden. I'm trying to do that by myself. But Flash Season 1. So Flash Season 1 is seen as like the pinnacle for the show. I think Season 1 and 2 are extremely strong seasons. And I've always said this. I know we're jumping off. This is Season 1. We're talking about Season 2. I've always felt Season 2 was really up there with Season 1. And could have been as good or even better. But they did drop the ball towards the end of that season. I thought it was actually really more enjoyable at points throughout the Season 1. But I think it's hard to not put Season 1 of The Flash as an S. Like, it's incredibly hard to not put Season 1 of The Flash as an A, as an S, sorry. I know people have tried to say, have you gone back and watched Season 1 of The Flash? It's not that good. And I'm like, no, it's extremely good. It's just that sometimes when you go back and watch a season, which has 23 episodes, sometimes it's just not as enjoyable as the last one. But watching this live, like, your mind was blown watching it, because you just weren't expecting certain things to happen. Obviously, you had suspicions and stuff, but I just think they nailed it with maybe like 1 or 2 hiccup episodes throughout the season, which, you know, is really, really commendable. And as I said, like, Season 2 could have competed with Flash, but it was just found it hard to. And that's just, I guess, you know, I guess even more praise to Season 1 with just, you know, how good it was. And I think we all love certain things that happened in Season 1 of The Flash. So for me, it's an S. I know there's some people saying it's an A, not an S, but for me, it is an S. It is an S. And I will, what do you want to call it? I don't even know what I was going to say there. Like, it could be an A, but from, like, if I was a bit, I'm not, what do I want to say? I don't really think it's overrated. I think it is an S. I think it is an S. And there's some seasons here which you might think are an S that I think is an A. But it just all comes down to personal opinion. But the ones where I'm a bit, like, torn about whether they go to a certain ranking, as I said, I will come back to you guys in the chat. But, okay. Well, Imran said that Season 2 was also an S, but we'll come back to Season 2 in a second. So, yeah. So, season 1 of The Flash, it's an S. I think that was an obvious one. I think a lot of people thought that would be the case. We'll drop down there. And also, I forgot to mention, I should have said this earlier, we are doing the current seasons, and this does go against my sort of like, my saying of don't judge something before it's over. However, I think because we are heading into the last 2 episodes, and I guess 3 episodes for Legends and Supergirl, but last 2 episodes for Arrow and Flash, we have enough grip on the season to really give it a rough ranking. Like, if we were going to say whether it's the best season ever or the worst season ever, it might be hard. But I think to give it a ranking out of here, I think we're on a fair field. Hopefully you guys agree with me, because we do get a general feel of what the season's going to be like. So I think that's fair enough to do these current seasons. No, I didn't put D, because I just felt I didn't feel like it was worth having a D. I think if you're a D, you're probably just going to be a C anyway, because I think a lot of the seasons are going to be in like that A, B, C category. Like, there's only going to be like a few S's, and there's only going to be a few F's. So I didn't think it was worth having a D. Why am I saying D so much? Yeah, I just didn't think it was worth having a D. I just wanted to keep it S, A, B, C, F. There was a D originally in here, and I took it away just because I thought it was too much. But I thought we'd have the F there because there's some seasons that deserve a big old F. Big old F on the face. Big old F with a slap on the face with a fish. That starts with an F. So, yeah, that's why there's no D. But now we'll jump into Legends Season 1, which is right here. Okay, Legends Season 1. Now, Season 1 of Legends was always a season which I thought was very good in the second half, but when it started, it was very rough. And the issue, sometimes when I was thinking about how I'd rank these, I've always thought, would I go back and watch the season? And I think with Legends Season 1, I'd probably go watch some episodes, but I don't think I'd watch the entire story of the season, because I didn't really care for it too much. Like, Vandal Savage was an okay villain, but I think he was sort of ruined by the crossover that Flash and Arrow had that year. So I'm torn between B or C, because I did like the last half and how it ended, but the first half was really rough. So I'm going to need your guys' help in the chat. B or C? Let me know. Just quickly give me some. I'm seeing a lot of C's, but I will wait a bit. Just let me know B or C, because it's not an F. I know Aaron's chucking an F in there and AK's chucking an F. Legend Season 1 isn't an F, but it's definitely a tie between B or C. A lot of... Yeah, I think... Yeah, fair enough if you didn't watch it, but just for those that did. There is a lot of B's, but I think the C's are definitely outweighing it. Because C doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it was just okay. Like, B means it was like, yeah, it was decent, and C just means it was like I'm not annoyed that I watched it, if that makes sense. There's a lot of B's. But I think Legends, it gets a C. It gets a C for Carter Hall. 8 Film Productions, you've just joined. How does this system work? Essentially, S is like the superior, a special tier. A means it's like very good. B just means it's like, yep, it's pretty decent. I enjoyed watching it. C is like, it was okay. It's okay. And F is like, oh my god, my eyes. Why did I watch that? That's F. So, yeah, that's the best way to describe it, I guess, in like a dramatic sense. But so currently we have Flash Season 1 as an S, Arrow Season 1 as an A, and Legends Season 1 as a C. So, as I said, if Legends maybe had a bit of a stronger opening, I think it would definitely be a B for Season 1, but I thought it was a bit hit and miss. I guess they never miss her in like that first half of the season, but towards the end it got very, very good, which led into Season 2, and as I said, Legends is going to climb the list in its next couple of seasons. But now we'll move on to Supergirl Season 1. So Supergirl Season 1 is my least favorite season of Supergirl. I think it's the most, just for me, this is once again, it's a personal opinion, I really don't like this season. I just felt it was very... It didn't feel like a superhero show. That's the way I've always felt. It just didn't feel like a Supergirl show. And I'm not even going to spend too much time on this. I know people will disagree, but it's going to be an F. Because Supergirl gets better. Okay, Supergirl has been a show that's gotten better every season. So sure, Season 2 might not be that great, but it's better than Season 1. So yeah, I can understand people liked it. Just for me, I didn't like the way that the show was in Season 1, but I do think it gets better. So you will see some seasons climb up here with Supergirl. But for me personally, I would never go back and watch Season 1. I didn't like the way they did certain things. Certain things felt very forced and stuff. And sure, there's stuff in the other seasons as well that just feel like, what the hell's that? But season 1 of Supergirl is an F for me. And for D, there's no D. There's just no D. Ignore that. There's just no D. Okay. But guys, if you are watching live, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on the stream just for when it goes live later. So if you are enjoying this little ranking thing, or even if you're watching after the fact, if you could drop a like, it'd be great, because it takes you 2 seconds to just go and leave a like on the video. But that's round 1, if you want to call it, of the Arrowverse tier rankings. So we've got no B's yet. No B's as of yet. We've got Flash Season 1 as an S, Arrow Season 1 as an A, Legends Season 1 as a C, and unfortunately for Supergirl, they've taken the first F in this little ranking tier thing. But we are going to go back down to Arrow now with Season 2. Season 2 is highly regarded as one of the best Arrowverse seasons that we've had. People ask me, like, why is Season 2 better than another Arrow season? I've always said it's because the flashbacks were incredibly interesting and really well done, and so was the present day, and I think they all lined up well. And Arrow really did the whole the thing that I think it has the best structure. It has the best structure of an Arrowverse show, where you have a somewhat compelling villain in that first half, which was Brother Blood, which then leads on and connects to that big bad that connects to the flashbacks, who is, of course, Deathstroke. And that whole season of Arrow Season 2 is incredibly enjoyable. Along with Season 1 of The Flash and maybe Season 2 of The Flash, Arrow Season 2 is the season I will always be like, yep, let's load that up and watch it, because it flows really well. I think it just flows really well, and everything matters in that season. With like Season 3 and maybe 4 of the flashbacks, and they're like, I really don't care. Can we move the Kel on, because I don't care about this crap. So, but Arrow Season 2, it's like, I care about this crap because I want to see how Slade descends into this just psychotic behavior and everything like that. So, Arrow Season 2, is it a B? Is it an F? Is it a C? Is it an A? Controversial, but it's an S. It is. It's getting the second S for the day. Arrow Season 2 is amazing. I love Arrow Season 2. People might disagree. And as I said, I think it's always going to be between an S and an A. I think anything that's an S could be an A for some people. But for me, it's an S. I love Arrow Season 2. And as I said, I think it's the best structured season. And it's what I think, Arrow sort of did it last season and stuff like that. But Flash should really adopt this thing with the first half villain, especially if you're not going to do a speedster villain or someone that's a bit even, like, who just seems overpowered just from their power base. Like, this season of Flash should have had a first season villain. Flash sort of did in Season 3 with Savitar and Dr. Alchemy, but they brought Savitar in a bit too early maybe. But yeah, I just love the way that Arrow Season 2 was structured, and I think it deserves an S. Jupiter Carter, ooh, sorry, I've just missed that. Jupiter Carter with the £10. Thank you very much for that. Paige, did you notice there's a grandfather paradox with Cicada Orn? Grace to Cicada because of him. She never would have gone back in time and wouldn't have been there to kill her uncle. Yeah, we brought that up. I think they're going to explain it in this week's episode. I know we're getting sidetracked from this thing, but I thought I'd answer this question because it's a lot. I think something that a lot of people will be thinking. I think they're going to explain it this season, in this week's episode, The Flash, as to how it makes sense. Because I don't think it makes sense. I just said there's a bit of a paradox there, but I think they're going to explain it this week in this episode, because there's something in the trailer that hints at it. And then Doug Snyder with the $2. Thank you very much for that, Doug. Pagey, how's Cal? He's going great. I did upload a video on Twitter of him at the beach if you want to go check it out. And the Dog Matt donated $2. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Dog Matt. Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciated. So yeah, does everyone agree with the S? Does everyone agree with the S for Season 2 of The Flash? Because I think it works there. I think that's where it deserves to be. But we'll move on to Flash Season 2. Where is it? It is over here. I know it's hard to tell, but I basically got like the iTunes little things. That I think that was the easiest things to get, the iTunes things. I think most people agree with a yes for S, if that makes sense. But here we go, Flash Season 2. So we had Zoom as the villain. A lot more development with Barry. Obviously, he calls Flashpoint at the end. And as I was saying before, Season 2, I think, could have been as good as Season 1 of The Flash. And at parts it was better. I think actually throughout the season, during the middle bits and stuff, it was a, what do you call it? just a more consistent and enjoyable season. Like Zoom did a lot more cooler stuff just because he was relevant for more, because Reverse Flash wasn't really revealed, or Earbud didn't go around as Reverse Flash until really late in season 1 of The Flash. But Zoom was there since really early in the season and started doing stuff around like episode 4 and 5 in regards to like, messing with Barry. So yeah, if it finished better, I think it would be up here with S, and it'd be very weird to have, season 1 and 2 of a show be up in S. But I think Flash season 2 does fall to A. I think it's an A. I don't think it's an S. As I said, it could have potentially been an S. It could have got really close to being an S. However, the ending just wasn't that strong. Like the cliffhanger for Flashpoint was really cool. But just how like Zoom's plan and other things like that, I just don't think it reaches that S level. So I think A is a fair place for it to be. Here comes Sal with the $5. My dad got pulled into Arrow because of Arrow season 2. Well, that shows you. I think people could watch Arrow season 2 without watching season. Like, sure, maybe just give them a bit of a recap. I don't think it's essential, but Arrow season 2 is just such a good season of superhero television and just comic book television, which I don't think a lot of people give enough raps. Everyone goes about, oh, the Netflix shows, they're so good, but no one ever talks about Arrow season 2. Fair enough, you don't want to talk about the other seasons of Arrow. Fair enough, I don't care. But Arrow season 2 does not get enough raps. Everyone talks about Flash season 1 as well, but no one ever talks about Arrow season 2 enough. And that's fine, Imran, if you think it's an S, that's fine. Like, as I said, if it was just like that tiny bit better, I think it would be an S. Like, really, if I'm going to be like, it's honestly like, it's like bordering between there. But I think, just as I said, I didn't want to make S overloaded, and I want it to be almost a bit judgmental with some things. Like, I don't think you can really, in my like brain, I don't think I could knock these two down. Season 1 of Arrow and season 2 of season 1 of Flash and season 2 of Arrow. But with season 1 of Arrow and season 2 of Flash, at least with season 2 of Flash, I don't think I can push him up to S. I think it has to be an A. Okay, so we're done with that. That's season 2 of The Flash, gets an A. So now we're on to Legends season 2, which is right here. So Legends season 2 had the Legion of Doom, so a Reverse Flash season. Had the Justice Society of America, time travel vixens brought in, and I don't know if you guys have watched it, but Legends of Tomorrow season 2 is a really good season. Like, it is. Like, I've sat down here before. Like, when season 3 of Legends ended, I thought it was better than season 2, but thinking back, season 2 of Legends was so enjoyable to watch, and some of the things they did were just a bit unexpected and stuff. And like, I would almost be inclined to put it as an S. Like, really, if I was going to be fair, like, the S is like the best season of all the shows. If that was the case, then I think this season 2 of Legends would get an S. I think it's an A. I think I'm going to put it as an A. I don't think I'm going to put it as an S. I know people might disagree with that, but I think it goes an A. I think Legends of Tomorrow season 2 gets the A, even though I can understand if you think it's an S. I can understand if you think it's an S. But for me, I think it deserves an A, and that's what it should get. Because there's nothing really in that season that really annoyed me, or that I think would annoy a lot of people. There was maybe some timey-wimey stuff, but I think some of the, like, maybe they underused the Justice Society, maybe, but I think overall it was a really strong season, and I think it deserves an A. I think that's where it deserves to be. Gary Gamon with the $3. Thank you very much for that, Gary. What time do you think the shows will be? I'm not too sure what you mean by that, Gary. You might have to let me know what you mean by that. I'm not too sure. What time do you think the shows will be? I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that, Gary. Let me know in the chat what you mean by that, because I'm a bit confused. But we will move on to Supergirl Season 2, which obviously brought in the fan favorite character of Mon-El, which I'm sure everyone loves. And obviously he was, that was a cliffhanger at the end of Season 1 of Supergirl. Supergirl Season 2. Now, some people might be going, oh, every season of Supergirl's an F. Every season of Supergirl is an F. Give him an F. But for me, look, it's not a great season. It's not a great season. If anything, Supergirl Season 2, if it was gonna be a perfect thing, it would be there. But there were things in this season that I did enjoy. And it was a season I did watch through week to week. Supergirl Season 1, I watched like first 5 episodes, then just left until the season was over, and then painfully binge watched it because I thought, because I heard it was getting picked up again and was going to the CW. I think the only episode I watched randomly without watching the rest was the crossover with Flash. But with Season 2 of Supergirl, like it had some interesting bits and it had like some good concepts and stuff, but I felt it was like a painful move from the whatever that channel was on before to the CW. But I think it's a C. I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna give it a C. I could be really, 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 really rough and give it an F, but I don't want to put it on the same playing field as Supergirl Season 1 because, in my opinion, Supergirl Season 1 is a clear F. That's understandable if you disagree because, like, you know, that's fine. But for me, Supergirl Season 2, I don't think it deserves to be down there because I think it did some good stuff while mixed with some bad stuff that's still, and that good stuff is still like being set up now. It just had a crappy villain. The twists were sort of obvious. But it did also tease like the whole, you know, Legion of superheroes and stuff like that. So I think it deserves a C. I'm going to give it a C. If there's probably a D, this is probably the only one that'd be a D, I think. But Supergirl Season 2 gets a C, and I think we'll just leave it there. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'm not asking you, I'm demanding you to move it to F. That's fine, Tom. I can understand that. I can understand if people want people wanted him to be people wanted him, I mean it or she, to be in the F spot, but I'm gonna have to leave it a C. I'm just going through the chat quickly just to see what some people are saying. Did Gary let me know what he meant by that thing? What time do you think all the shows will come on? Do you mean next year? Like for next seasons? Around the same time, like October and stuff. That's usually when they come out. I don't know about Batwoman though. I have no idea. You didn't like Mummy's Love and Supergirl? Jesus Christ. Naruto with the $2. Thank you much. Thank you very much for that, Naruto. I skipped Supergirl Season 1 until I moved to CW. Yeah, I can understand that. Because you just want to keep everything in the Arrowverse and watch all that stuff. But yeah, that's Supergirl Season 2. So we're back down to Arrow Season... Okay, this is a controversial one because we know the ending of Season 3. We know what the last... God, my chair... Why are you... My chair's all stuffed up. Anyway, Arrow Season 3. Okay. Controversial. This is going to be a controversial one because people might go, it's an F. It's a straight F. But for me, I can understand that. The last 7 episodes of Arrow Season 3 are pure fan fiction and bad fan fiction. Like, it's not good. Arrow Season 3 ends off in a pretty bad place. However, this is one of the moments where I was like, yeah, I was wrong. Like, I was wrong. I went back and watched Season 3 of Arrow, and the first, like, 15, I don't know the exact number, like, it's just, let's say 2/3 of the season are good. Like, they're not Arrow Season 2 level. They're probably like Season 1 level. Probably Season 1 level. Like, they're actually really, like, well, I'm not going to say really, but pretty good to just, like, you know, decently good. They're decent episodes. And, like, the mid-season finale for Arrow Season 3, The Climb? Is it The Climb? I think that's what it's called. Is one of the best Arrow episodes ever. Like, I'd put that top 5 Arrow episodes probably. Where he climbs up and he faces Ra's al Ghul and then dies and stuff. Like, that was really good. Even that battle was good. So some people might think it's an F. And if it continued on, even if like the season 3 ending was just like, yeah, it was just pretty bad. It was just like, okay, it was a bit anticlimactic. It'd probably be a B, but the ending of Arrow Season 3 is pretty damn bad. Like, it is pretty damn bad. So I think it deserves a C. I think, like, it turns into, if it was the early episodes, it'd be bordering probably like it'd probably be a B, but it could be bordering an A depending on who you are. But the ending is bad for Arrow Season 3 that I think it just deserves a C. I think we'll just, you know, I think it's a C. I think there's too much point really judging between that because it's not an F. It's definitely not an F because I had to go back and watch the first 2/3 of Arrow Season 3. The ending probably not. Which is, yeah, as it turns into fan fiction. But I think C's a good. I can understand if you give it a B. I can understand that. But for me, I think I'm going to give it a C because that ending led to... Okay, and I think this might convince a lot of you guys to give it a C. The ending of this season led to the monstrosity that is Season 4. Like, you know, that is the way that they set up the ending for this season is why Season 4 was the way it was. So maybe that might make you change your minds. And give it a C. Maybe agree with why I'm giving it a C. So yeah, Arrow Season 3, you get the C. But now let's move on to... Okay, this is another controversial one, and you guys know what it is. Flash Season 3. Whew. Okay, because I have strong opinions on this. Now, people might think, oh, Paige, I've heard what you think. It's an F. It's an F. But it's actually very similar to Flash. Flash Season 3 is actually really similar to Arrow Season 3, where the first, like, 2/3 of the season are pretty good. Like, they are, like, Season 2 level or some of the previous seasons levels. But then it drops the ball, and the Savitar thing at the end was just all over the joint. The time stuff was just... they wasted our times. Like, I'm sorry. You can't... The way that they treated that whole Savitar thing was laughable. The way that they had Iris die in the future, and then we're like, okay, well, how are they going to solve this? There's going to be like some cool way that they're going to like divert everything and change everything where they can able to take down Savitar. There's going to be this massive cool plan. And at the end of it, the expendable character for the season, Sherlock, who we all memed up. This was a meme. Okay, when the season was out, this was a meme that this is what was going to happen. Like, it was a joke going around that Sherlock would use his disguise to be Iris and sacrifice himself. That wasn't like a theory. That was a joke, because it was a joke ending. That was like, people were like memeing that about. Oh, was it HR, not Sherlock, HR. Sorry, all the Wells are just like, they just bundle into this big ball. HR. Like, HR used his face thing, you know, to change the Iris. That was a meme and a joke going on throughout the season. And then that's what they did. Like, it's like they saw that theory going around during the mid-season thing, when that's a good idea, but no one actually said, oh, by the way, people are making fun of that. People don't want that to happen. People are saying that would be a terrible and hilariously bad ending. And that's what they did. So, Flash Season 3, you had a good first 2/3. Some of the Savitar stuff was cool at the beginning. I thought Dr. Alchemy was decent. The Wally stuff was pretty decent. Yeah, Flash Season 3, you can cop a C, mate. You're down here. I'm sorry. Look, B's open. Like, the B is open. We still don't have a B yet. And once again, I can understand if you think this is a B, but I was so disappointed with the Flash Season 3 ending. And... what do you want to call it? You could argue that Flashpoint was wasted in Season 3, which knocks it down a couple of more points. So, yeah. This is actually a Photoshop file that I'm using. This is like Photoshop. But you can download like the actual picture of this tier ranking thing and then load it in. And then I got the individual pictures. Is that Season 4 Flash thing? Is that meant to be a season? Because I just typed in Flash Season 3 iTunes, and that's what it popped up with. So... I know that's Season 2 and that's Season 1, but that's apparently what they gave for Season 3. And I think that's Season 3, because that is the Season 3 suit. Anyway, let's move on. So, Season 3 is a C. I can understand if you give it a B. I can understand if you give it a C. Give it a B. But for me, I was so disappointed by certain things that I think it just deserves a C. And as I said, it's similar to Arrow Season 3 in so many ways, where the first 2/3 is good, if not, it has some great episodes in there. But Season 3, towards the end, it just falls apart. And it just, things didn't work and had a crappy ending. So let's move on. So Season 3 is a C. Now we move on to Legends of Tomorrow Season 3. Where is it? There we go. There we go. Okay, this one... I'm just thinking to myself right now, because I think we might have a first here for the thing. Okay, so Season 3 of Legends was up there. Like, some people think it's like as good as Season 2. And at the time when I was watching it, I just really enjoyed what they did. But going back and thinking about it, it was a bit silly at points, but it was still really enjoyable to watch. Like, it was a really fun show to watch. So it involved like the time aberrations. Is that what they call them? What was it, Aberrations this season, or was it the other one? Whatever it was called. But obviously we start off where like the certain things are displaced through time and everything like that. And we had the debut of Bebo on the team. Vixen was there still. Other certain things. Zari came in as well from the future. Season 3 of Legends, it's a B. I'm going to give it a B. Okay, I can understand you want to give it A, but I sort of want to distinguish and I really just want to put something in the B slot, to be completely honest. But I don't think it's as good as Season 2. If anything, once again, it'd be one of those ones that's like sort of teetering between A and B. But because we already have our Legends Season 2 up there, I think we'll put Legends Season 3 at B. But it is one of those things. Anachronisms. Was Anachronisms the one in Season 3? And then Aberrations were the one in Season 2. Okay, yeah. Anachronisms are the ones that are displaced, and Aberrations are just like people are affecting the timeline. I think that's what it was. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So yeah, season 3 of Legends, we'll give it a B. Once again, I can understand if you give it an A. I can understand that completely, but I'm just trying to think about it like, just to be fair and just sort of spread things out, that I think Legends of Tomorrow season 3 is a B, and I think it's fitting because it's B for Bebo. I think that's fitting. I think we'll give it a B for Bebo. And I think Bebo himself, our Lord and Savior, would be happy with that choice. So I think that's fair. Once again, I can understand if you give it an A or you think it's an A, but I think we'll just leave it as a B. So B for Bebo. But once again, guys, if you are watching this live, we have, I think, 900 and something on viewers. So if you're watching this live, it would be awesome if you could actually drop a like on this video just to show your support. It'd be great if you could do that. She's So Cute with the $2. Thank you very much for that, She's So Cute. Have you noticed how Arrow and Flash seasons parallel? Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think maybe like the first 2 seasons, it's almost like a flip. But going forward, they are fairly fairly similar in certain ways. And then Fortnite Fantasy with the $10. Thank you very much for that, Fortnite. If The Flash was a darker show and everything was more serious, it would be more enjoyable in my opinion. Instead, it's so cheesy, and they make The Flash out to be so weak and inexperienced. In regards to the darker stuff, I don't really agree. Like, it has to be dark when relevant, but if you make the show like, oh, I'm sad all the time, then no, I don't think it's going to be good, because The Flash needs to be like a hopeful character. It's almost like sort of like Superman-esque. But in regards to the weekend experience, I agree with you completely. It's really annoying how Barry's like overpowered one episode, then he's like an absolute idiot the next episode, or he's smart one episode, then dumb the next episode. That's the thing I'm annoyed by with its inconsistency. But yeah, thank you very much for those super chats. And as I said, yeah, it takes you 2 seconds to drop a like on the video, so it'd be awesome if you could do that. As we move into, if I can find it on my screen here, Supergirl Season 3. Okay, Supergirl Season 3 brought in the Legion of Superheroes. We had, Brainy came in through that. We had some characters leave at the end of the season. We had Miss Martian come in. Had some Martian stuff going on. And I think Season 3 of Supergirl, I think it's a C. I think it's a C. You might notice I'm not spending too much on Supergirl. I think it's just because to me, it's fairly clear where each show lies. So we now have 2 Supergirl seasons on C. But I must say, while Supergirl Season 2 was sort of teetering between C and F, Supergirl Season 3 was definitely teetering between a B and a C. Okay, but I think it's probably like a B minus, which just chucks it into the C. I think it's just not B level. Like, if I'm going to chuck it, is it the same level as Legends Season 3? No. Is it the same level as probably like some of these shows down here? Probably. Rain was a really cool villain. But and for those that don't know, Supergirl Season 3 had like production issues. So if everyone remembers the Andrew Kreisberg stuff that happened last season, that heavily affected Supergirl, like heavily affected it, where they basically had to like rewrite, I don't know if it was like the entire back half, but a decent chunk of the back half, because they weren't allowed to use Andrew Kreisberg's ideas and stuff that he'd written. Otherwise he could like sue them, because they'd fired him, so technically they don't think they could pay him, but if they used them, then he could sue them. I think that's how it was, something along those lines. So they had to rewrite what they were doing in the back half. So what you saw at the end of Supergirl Season 3 wasn't what they planned. So in the back half, Rain sort of turns into a not as interesting villain. At parts, for like a decent chunk of that last part of the season, she's not even the villain. And there's just a lot of random stuff they bring in that just didn't feel like it matched with what they were setting up at the beginning. So, yeah. Sorry, what are you saying here? And are you going to put the shows on each letter in order as well? I'm not too sure what you mean. Oh, do you mean like what's better? No, I won't do that. They'll just give them the general ranking. So I'm not going to say like... So this isn't the ranking. Like, I don't think Supergirl Season 2 is better than... Arrow Season 3 or Flash Season 3. It's just how they go. Like, that's just the earlier seasons. It's a B, mate. No, I think it's a C. I'll leave it as a C. So we'll just leave it there for Supergirl Season 3. There was massive issues with it. I think if it finished the way it was meant to go, it would be a B. Arguably, it could be an A, because I thought the first half of Supergirl Season 3 was one of the best out of that current season, or out of that season of Arrowverse shows. But the last half, I think everyone can agree, it just sort of falls flat. And you had Mon-El drama and stuff like that, which I really couldn't care for. So, yeah. But now we move on to the Holy Grail, the most wonderful experience I think we all had watching TV. Arrow season 4, get down there. We're not even talking about you. Okay, Flash season 4. Okay, where are you? Okay, Flash season 4. Flash season 4 was the interesting season. Like, I'm just looking at the chat right now. Yeah, just give it an F. There's not even no point talking about Arrow season 4. Like, I don't want to dive into that. Just, it can sit down there as an F. Just sit down there. Okay, Flash season 4 is a season that people were. This was the first season where you had a non-speedster villain. And it was a massive change for a lot of people. Obviously, at the end of season 3 of the Flash, Barry went to the Speed Force. And season 4 started where he was in the Speed Force, and it's like Wally and Cisco and stuff protecting Central City, but then they want to get him out, and Iris is like, I don't want to get my husband out. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So Flash season 4, I enjoyed them more than most people. I think it's better than season 3, and the reason I think it's better than season 3 is consistency. Consistency is a massive thing with me with watching TV shows, because I don't want to be like, that was really good, and the next week going, that was really crap, and the next week being like, that was okay, and then being like, oh, that was really crap the next week, and then, oh, it's great again, oh, it's crap again. I hate that. I hate watching a show. I would rather a show be like, just it has like it's pretty consistent with its levels. Like every episode is like a 7 or a 6 or something, or like, you know, maybe an 8 every now and then. I would rather that than having like a 10, then a 2, then a 10, then a 1, then a 8, then a 3. You know, I'd rather it be consistent. So does that mean it's a B? No, it means it's a C. All right, Flash season 4 is still a C. I'm not gonna meme it about and chuck it into B, but I felt it was more enjoyable than most things in season 3, more consistent. People disagree with me, and I'm fine with that. You know, once again, what's the point in having an opinion if you're just going to fight over and like, no, you're wrong. You know, everyone can have an opinion, and that's just mine. And I accept that I might be in the minority, and I am in the minority, but yeah, just parts of it I liked, but that doesn't mean it goes up to a B. It's still a C, and C is clogged, which maybe is a bit of a bad look in the past of the Arrowverse, but yeah. Okay, well, now we move on to the last season of Legends of Tomorrow, okay? And just give me 2 seconds, because I have to move some of these Arrow shows out of the way. They're in the way at the moment. Just let me move them. Hold on, let me just move both of these shows at the same time. I know this is tedious, but I sort of have to. Flash season 5, you can move there. And then Supergirl season 4, you can move there. Okay, just so there's room. Okay, what was this? Legends season 4. Okay, Legends season 4. Okay, interesting little one here. Is this still going? This still has 3 episodes of a 16-episode season to go. So you might argue, Paige, they could blow you out of the water. And it's had some enjoyable elements. However, I feel like it's dropped off it's like the feel that season 2 and 3 built up. And I know some people hate it to the point where it's an F. And it's almost there. Like, really, Legends that's what it is at the moment. It's sort of bordering between C and F. And I think it depends on how they finish the season. And, you know, I'm going to break my own rules here. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it between a C and an F because, and as I said, it's still got 3 episodes left to go. At the moment, it's like that. It's more towards an F. However, well, even if I leave it like that, it's more towards the F. Like, only like 2/3 of it is in the F and 1/3 of it is in the C. It'd have to have a really good ending, I think, to bring it up fully to a C, but I'm going to leave it there. I know I'm breaking my own rules here by putting it like that, but I don't think I could give it a full F because I've still enjoyed some parts of it, but there are some clear things that just don't work and just aren't enjoyable to watch. And I don't think it's as bad as season 4 of Arrow or season 1 of Supergirl. But really, if it doesn't finish off strong, it could end up down there. So I'm going to leave it there. As I said, it's more heading towards the F. Like, really, its head's poking. It's almost in quicksand or F sand, and its head's poking out. But who knows? A rope might come in regards to like the last 3 episodes and pull it all the way back up to C. But at the moment, you're chilling down there, Legends. I'm sorry. And people would disagree with me. Like, some people just hate it and give it an F straight away. So I'm sort of maybe on the more understanding side. But I just want to go through some of the super chats quickly. Charlie Jeffrey with the £4. Thank you very much for that. Will you do a top 10 Arrow episodes when it ends? Probably when the show completely ends next season. I'll probably do some like Arrow sort of retrospective thing. And something like that. Boab with the €2. Thank you very much for that. Can you predict a ranking for the upcoming seasons? Well, that's what sort of I'm doing now. But as I said, like some of them might be like legends. I think I'm pretty clear with. Season. I think I'm pretty clear with the current seasons in the other shows where they will be. But Legends was the only one I wasn't too sure about. Recon Chameleon, that's actually a really cool name. That's like an Xbox gamer tag that everyone would want. With the $5, thank you very much for that. Flash has to get at least an A for introducing the wonderful and complex concept that is Apartment 4. Well, that was season 4 of The Flash. That Apartment 4 was brought in. I don't think it was enough though. I don't think really it's making me consider bringing it up to a B but the thing is they haven't dived into the concept of Apartment 4 too much. It's still a mystery. So maybe next time we do something like this, if Apartment 4 is dived into and we go, wow, what a setup that was in season 4, then maybe season 4 goes up to a B. But I think at the moment, I think it deserves where it needs to be. And then the Graceful Rogue with the $5 as well. My issue with The Flash this season, Barry's a side character in his own show. If you're not Mary Sue, Iris, or Nora, you're irrelevant and Cicada became a joke. Sorry. Yeah, fair enough, Graceful Rogue. I understand that criticism and stuff there. I'm not going to jump into the whole Mary Sue stuff because that could trigger some people. But let's move on to Supergirl Season 4. How are we going, Supergirl? Season 4. Season 4 of Supergirl is the currently best Supergirl season. It's not over yet. It had a bit of a weak episode. Was it last week? But I think overall it's been fairly decent. It's had a lot of villains, which I think has allowed the show not to have too many filler episodes and become really slow. And maybe Supergirl's setting the standard for like how you should plan out a season. If you're not going to have like a massive first half villain, maybe have some mini villains spread out throughout it, which is something that like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has done in the past in regards to like other comic book shows. But that's where Supergirl for me is. It's probably bordering, the Supergirl season 4 is bordering between a B and an A. I'm going to be pretty hard here and probably give it a B because there are some things I'm not enjoying much. I think they're sort of killing off not literally killing off, but they are sort of maybe bringing down the John Jones character a bit. Like if he was, that's the thing. I think John Jones is probably the thing that's making it bring it down for a B with me and how they've handled his character this season. If he was like he was and they just kept with his normal story and just didn't do weird stuff with him, it could be an A. But that's really been something that sort of like annoyed me just watching it. Like, what the hell's going on here with John? Like everything else is pretty decent and actually really good, especially of late. In the current storyline they're doing, but the John Jones stuff is sort of like annoying me. So I think it gets a B. I think that's fair. It might end up a C for you. I think it's going to be a B or an A. Like, I think it's probably going to stick for a B with me. I don't think it'll drop down to a C. But if it was really good and the ending was great or something and John Jones got redeemed, I think it would be an A. But as I said, I can understand if you give it an A. I don't understand how you give it a C, to be completely honest. I think it's much better than a C. But I can understand if you give it an A. I can completely understand that because this has been Supergirl's best season. And they're breaking the whole season 4 curse because Supergirl's had a really good season. But I can understand if you gave it an A. I can understand. Okay, but we are now going to move on to... Okay, so as I said, Arrow is going to have like a big clump at the end because once season 5, there's still 2 seasons of Arrow after this. And then why does the season 6 poster for Arrow and the season 7 one look exactly the same? Anyway, season 5 of Arrow. Okay, this is once again going to be like a really judgmental one because it's going to be, is it an A or is it an S? I haven't really thought about this too. I knew going into this would be like a top, like debatable one for a lot of people because some people are going to think it's an S, some people are going to think it's an A. Because this was really good. Like this was really good. It did have some down points. It did have arguably one of the worst episodes of Arrow in its season, episode 20, that one in the bunker, which was really bad. But it's had some really good stuff in it as well. The first half of Arrow season 5 isn't that great, like just okay. But the last half is just like, wow, like a lot of cool stuff happens in the last season and the finale as well, just the last handful of episodes as well. You know what? I'm going to phone a friend. Stream chat. Let me know. S or A. Let me know. Is it an S or an A? Because you're deciding it now. It's an S or an A from you guys. You're the ones that are deciding it. Because I'm conflicted with it, whether it's an A or an S. So I'm going to give this down to you guys. A lot of A's. I am seeing a lot of A's. I think A might be taking the cake now. Yeah, I actually thought it might get the S from a lot of you guys in the chat. I think it's an A. I think it's probably more of an A, but I wanted you guys to maybe push it up for an S just for you guys. But we'll give it an A. We'll give it an A. We'll give it an A. I know I can, but once again, it's teetering and tottering between an S and an A. I can understand it. But for me, it's probably an A if I had to be 100% like you have to choose one, because the first half of the season is just okay. Like it has some growing problems with that new team, but the last season when everything's put together and like the whole Adrian Chase stuff happens, it's really good. Like if I had to give the last half, it'd be a super fat S across the face. You know, you're not escaping that S. It's getting an S. But when you include that first half, it brings it down a couple of pegs, and it's probably it's an A plus. Like, don't get me wrong. Like Legends of Tomorrow season 2 is probably like an A minus. So Arrow season 5 is probably an A plus, and I think it's fitting because I think when this show was out, I think I said it was on par with season 1 in regards to its quality, and I think it's fair that season 1 of Arrow is on the A as well with season 5. But as I said, you know, the last half is an S, but that first half, if you go back and watch the first half just on its own, you're like, oh, it's just okay. It's just okay, and it sort of brings some marks down for the overall season. But as we head into the last 3 things, guys, if you are still watching, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support, just because this video is going to go live after. Takes 2 seconds to leave a like on the video, so it'd be greatly appreciated. But now we move on to, if I can find it, where is it? Here we go. Flash season 5. Okay. Flash season 5. Once again, 2 episodes left. The last 2 episodes look like they're going to be really enjoyable. We had a pretty average episode, which is a bit annoying recently, so it's probably not the best thing to leave off and have that episode like the most recent one in your mind. I know there's people memeing it up and saying it's an F, it's an F. And I'm just thinking about it now. God, people saying A. I think I'm seeing a lot of people saying B or C. And like it's still got 2 episodes left. It could really, I don't think it's ever going to be an A. And I think it's sort of like in this period. It's sort of in that area right now. It's between a B or a C. And I'm going to be a very generous little boy here and give it a B. I think I'm going to be very generous here and give it a B. And, you know, I was hard on Flash season 3. You know what I mean? And people have sort of compared it to season 3, where like had some good plans and like setups and stuff, and it just maybe didn't execute that plan as well. However, if you watch my video I did on the weekend where I was like, everything could be connected, and there's a whole point that we've had Cicada come around and be this relevant for the entire season because it does connect to Thorn in the future. I'd be very happy. Now, Todd Helbing isn't a good showrunner. We all know that. He's got an obsession with Jessica Parker Kennedy and wants to put her in every single scene. And I like her. I like Jessica Parker Kennedy. I do like the Nora character in spurts. Maybe not the best term to use. In parts. We'll say parts. But they've made her the main character, and Barry just feels like he's just a passenger. And not even a passenger with an opinion. He's just sitting there. He's always put on the bitch, like, just to be completely honest. Like, Iris has his balls in a box. It doesn't feel like the Flash too much in regards to, like, Barry's the one driving the story. We're seeing the season through Nora's eyes, which causes issues. And you might think, oh, you're complaining about it a lot. And it's like, yeah, but there's still some really cool parts that just make me think that it's going to finish off strong and that it deserves a B. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. I think it's just a gut feeling. So I'm going to give it a B. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, prove me wrong. Like, if the show sucks in the last 2 episodes and they completely stuff it up, and like, I think that if they have that connection where Cicada's dagger is the whole reason for what happened to Eobard in the future, and that's why all this thing with Nora is happening, I think it ties up well. Not wonderfully to the point where like, oh, that's an S, you know, but I think it's decent where you're like, okay, well, it was somewhat worth it, so let's give it a B. But it could flop it and just suck at the end, and it deserves a C. But I'm going to give it a B. And I know it is a bit generous, but I'm going to give it a B. I think that's where it deserves to be. Okay, I didn't mean to say B, 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 but we keep saying B. Okay, so that's Flash done. So we are now on to the last 2 seasons. We have Arrow Season 6 and then Arrow Season 7, which is the current season. Arrow Season 6 had the aftermath of the whole Leanne New thing. William came into Oliver's life. We had Ricardo Diaz come into it. Black Siren was more of a presence throughout the season, a bit of a thorn in the team's side, and just like flip-flopping. We had Quentin Lance die at the end of the season. What else happened? Thea left. What happened? What else happened with Arrow Season 6? Can't remember. But Arrow Season 6 is like probably the most quintessential. It's just average season ever. I don't think it was like, to me, it was just consistently average throughout the entire season. And I think it's a B. I think it's a B. Like, once again, I think it's one of those shows it's probably teetering between a C, but I enjoyed Ricardo Diaz for certain parts of it. And certain things that they did throughout the season. There was some really cool episodes throughout this. So I'm probably going to give it a B. It's probably, maybe I'm being a bit too generous throughout the end. But as I said, it was probably teetering between a C or a B. But I don't think Arrow Season 6 was disappointing. I don't think it set anything up to be overly amazing and then disappoint us. I think we got what we thought we were going to get. And then it set up the whole Oliver going to prison thing, which I think was decent. Like Oliver's, I guess, sacrificing himself. I don't think it's an A. It's definitely not that. It's definitely teetering between a B or a C, but I'm going to give it a B. And you might be like, Paige, you're just giving these Bs so you can fill that B column. Maybe that's the case, but I still think I don't think it's worthy of a C. Like, nothing really triggered me too much in that season to the point where I was like, oh, stuff that. What the hell? I think it was decent enough. I'm just looking through the chat. It is generous, but I think, you know me, I love my Arrow. But now we move on to the last season. This is the last one. So Arrow Season 7. Good setup in certain parts. Wonderful setup, really. First half of the season was incredible. Back half has just been it's been okay, but it's just had some parts that have made me go, oh, that's not that great. But Season 7 of Arrow, once again, it's got 2 episodes left. I'm interested as hell to see how that ends. The flash forward started off really interesting, but it sort of dropped off a bit because Mia's heading the flash forward, and she's not that interesting of a character, unfortunately, unlike what we were sort of teased. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's the acting or it's just the writing for the character is just meh. It's like they're trying to force us to care because she's Oliver's kid, but that's not enough to make us care, you know what I mean? Especially if Oliver's not there, like, training her in the future. So, Arrow Season 7. I liked Emiko when she first came in. Obviously, I love Sei Shimuka, the actress, but I don't like the twist, if you want to call it, where Emiko is the villain for the season, or is looking to be the villain for the season. I don't like that. So, it was, first half was really good. It was looking like it was going to be an A season. Arguably, if it kept going on, it could have possibly been an S. But I think it's a B. I think Arrow Season 7 is a B. I don't want to forget the prison arc, I know, but there's certain things that happen at the end of the season. Like, it's like that. It's not this. It's not like Arrow's. It's definitely bordering between an A and a B, but I'm probably going to give it a B at the moment, just because there's been things that have made me go, I don't know if that was the best place to go. Okay, well, you know what, people? Okay, let me know in the chat. This is, okay, that's not my decision, okay? A or B? Let me know in the chat. Is it an A or a B? Just spam it out, and I want to see what's in the chat. Is it an A or is it a B? Let me know. Because you guys can decide this last one. It's the last season, so it's an A or a B. Don't bother putting C because I'm not going to put it C. Is it an A or is it a B? I think A is going to win. I'll give it a couple more seconds. Oh, well, yeah. Well, you guys have spoken. It's an A. So there we go. There's our list. And the funny thing is, and I know there's more seasons for this, But you can see the clear winner is Arrow. Arrow has 4 seasons out of its 7 seasons in the S and A categories. Flash only has 2. And Flash has 2 seasons down here in that bit of a meh character. So does Legends and so does Supergirl. Arrow only has... Well, then again, Arrow has an F. Arrow does have an F, so that probably takes away a bit from Arrow. But that's the rankings. So, guys... That's it. That's the rankings. I know there's going to be some, people that disagree, but I think this is a fairly generous list. I know we did cheat a bit with Legends of Tomorrow Season 4, but I think that's the one that's like teetering the most between whether it gets an F or whether it gets a C. Because an F is a big thing to give a show, and I think Season 1 of Supergirl and Season 4 of Arrow sort of deserve it. Season 4 of Arrow more than Supergirl Season 1, but I think they still deserve to be there. So I don't want to just, floss on Legends Season 4 too hard and break their hips and just put them down to F straight away. I want to give them a bit of a chance and, maybe redeem themselves in those last handful of episodes and push it to a nice C finish. But yeah, so that's that, guys. If you're watching this playback after the fact, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like. Let me know in the comments section down below your various rankings, whether you disagree with certain points, whether you'd move a certain show. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to everyone that donated as well. Thank you to Drew, who donated 5 minutes ago with the $1 super chat. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, that's the end of it. If you want to come back to this video later on, even if you're watching the stream and get involved in the comments, feel free to do that. I don't know when it will go up. YouTube's weird with its processing times. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it all. I think it's a pretty decent list. I don't think it's bad, but it's definitely decent. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on my next video probably tomorrow. So laters.